I mean, it's looking pretty spicy. Like we might be in for a bloodbath here as we do get started. It's V3. It's CGA. You know what time it is. I'm Beautiful Crow. Joining me for this game is Caster Oak.
Yeah, I'm here for it. And you say a bloodbath. I'm not as excited for that, just because we've seen a Yumi and an Ornn locked in, and these champions just love doing nothing, basically. Ornn, whilst a very aggressive laner by default, I mean, well, I say very aggressive. He has some points where he can be aggressive, and because he's into the GP, he's gone for Spellbook instead of Grasp, which gives him opportunity to look towards Ignite at level 6, which is incredibly scary to play into. If anyone knows his combos, Washidai is probably one of the strongest points of V3 in terms of his variety of champions he's been able to pick, as well as overall consistency within the first 15 minutes. Level 6 Ornn with Ignite can absolutely one-tap some people. So that's going to be where our first eyes are around that 7-8 minute mark. In turn, we get to see both junglers starting towards top side, which means collision most likely going to be happening around that first scuttle towards bot. And that in turn means that it seems like both junglers are trying to play towards the bot side as well, which makes sense for CGA because Kassin, Nema, such a good setup into the Sivir Yumi, being able to pilot towards that and force him to have to play, especially with Sivir, who loves to shove, force him to have to play in safety is going to be our first area where we're like, okay, can V3 navigate this part?
Right. How are they going to be able to navigate through this early game and get to that? You talk about the level 6 in the top lane. I'm very excited for how this bot lane is going to be because both of these junglers are very much gank heavy junglers, right? They both want to start something off. They want to make things happen. And CGA wanting to maybe set Hybrid ahead earlier than normal to get him going in this early game. It's just something to look for as we do see different paths right now. As Unica
is spotted on vision. I don't know if he got spotted. It looks
not sure
like
if he
doesn't.
Yeah. Not sure if he got spotted on that ward. Sneaking behind it at a tri-bush, but UGO telegraphing the engage very heavily. Unica's going to go ahead and get some poke down, and Kassin is still right behind Dresscode. Oh! Didn't juggle the knockups successfully enough to get 2 back-to-back, but they will force the flash out of Dresscode and force the Ignite. Nemo did lay down the Ignite in that exchange.
Yeah.
But all in all, this could look for a repeat.
Yeah, but it's so scary now for V3 because look at that. The wave's slow pushing into them. He has no mana left to continue looking for these aggressive shoves, and it can really help secure CJ the first 5 minutes of the laning phase because Zeri ends up falling over and keeling over basically quite a lot within the first 5-10 minutes of the game just because she really struggles to play aggressively, and her auto attacks by nature, she can't go through creeps unless she uses these, so it's very difficult to consistently last hit. She gets a little bit more space in lane now to decide how she wants to play the lane, whether she's doing this kind of style where you can see right now shoving under turret to try to make sure that to choke out Dresscode CS a little bit, or even just play it net neutral knowing that, hey, Dresscode can't auto shove because now without flash, Kassin can just walk down again. And he's going to be spending a lot of time towards his bot side because he hasn't even taken his speed buff yet.
For sure, yeah, he did manage to take away Unica's red buff right in front of his face there after that gank.
Did he? Oh my god, he did. I didn't even note it. Oh my god.
After he did that gank to bot lane, he walked up right into the red buff and said, hey, Unica, this is mine now, and managed to take that. So setting him behind a little bit as UGO looking to roam up with Unica here, maybe looking to get a kill on the Nap, who is sitting pretty low on mana. Flash still available. Trying to dodge out from Washidai. Now they have made their presence known. Nap has to get this flash successfully. Does not get out of the way of all the chain CC. And first blood going the way of V3, but will be returned on to UGO, getting 1 for 1 for Nap.
Yeah, actually a really big trade coming out from Nap because he gets... Sure, they give over first blood gold to Unica, but he manages to grab the majority of the wave. He forces TP out from UGO, as well as... Remember, Cocoon managed to shove that wave in the first place, so UGO actually lost an entire wave off of that play as well. So even through that, they only find a small gold lead. Then we can see the replay, and the big thing to know here is that Nap, I just don't know if CJ just aren't communicating where people are, because the fact that Unica could be top side is pretty already designated by the fact that, hey, this red buff just got taken, but also UGO's presence should be known on map, and CJ should be respecting this. So while CJ managed to find the trade, I don't think he should be dying in the first place.
Yeah, definitely not. But speaking of dying, Dresco dropping significantly low. Cannon Barrage there for the assist, but once again, Dresco barely surviving an attempted life attempt on his life. Man, look, I need more sleep. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just the ball is not rolling today.
It's okay. We're here for it. We're gonna guide you through this game. Don't worry, buddy.
Thank you so much.
um, and now we get to do a little bit of an item check. My favorite time of the game is 6 minutes in. We're just approaching Emperor's Divide, already picked up by Cocoon, as Kassin shows in mid lane. I think having this big wave shove could maybe indicate we could be looking towards Drake. Even after Drake HP buffs, people are still eager to. They want to get those early Drakes if possible. Cloud Drake, not so much. I hate taking this Drake early. But yeah, we get a quick item check, and we can see Sheen picked up on GP. Pretty big spike, as well as Zerka's already picked up by Hybrid, and first Mythic's already kind of designated by this, really. And I'll be surprised to see if we see any real, I don't know what to call it, like deviation from standard builds with this, especially considering the comps that we're seeing CJ play into.
Right. I don't think any fancy builds, any item spec builds here, as Cloud Drake will be started up by Kassin. Just going to go ahead and take this. I highly doubt V3 is going to even try to contest this. That's not really their style. And yeah, so it's going to go
also
over early.
They got Yuumi. So Drake contention a little bit limited unless they can get him on Unica. So yeah, they give up on it. And then instead, I think Unica kind of having to play catch up. We can see already 3 camps down at 7 minutes is a pretty significant deficit, especially when you're playing into a Jarvan. Zen should be clearing quicker. So the fact that he's not already kind of identifies Kassin's doing more than a job's worth.
Yeah, and also Kassin just keeps.
Oh my god.
He's going for it. As Kassin dropping very low. Tower aggro juggled perfectly. As I'm just, trying to talk about one point, they're going straight into another, but across the map, means you trying to make something happen in response. It's not going to be enough timings. Wait, Hybrid's still going for this. Come on, Patel, kill the cat, get him down. No, we'll get away indeed, as the TP burn from Cocoon to stave off the aggression from V3 on the nap, ensuring that CGA are the only ones to get any kills in that last play.
Yeah, I think CJ managing to play off. Remember that little punish point earlier where they managed to get the flash out from dress code. Kassin's like, I'm going to make my way down bot lane at some point. As soon as he hits level 6 and that Cataclysm is available, immediately he's like, okay, I'm doing that aggressive play now and we're going to secure that kill. Very smart and actually efficient from CJ, because early as they pop those things, everything's going to be back up again. They can keep this tempo up. And even managing to not bleed out on the other side of the map as well, because Cocoon had built that advantage. Remember, that all comes off of UGO roaming towards topside and having to burn that TP. That in turn gives Cocoon TP advantage, and he can TP topside to make sure Nap doesn't die. Very big finesse from CGA.
Yeah, and they're just, playing cleanly, just taking their time, making sure they dot their I's and cross their T's, as the saying goes, to just make sure they get this win, this, actually important win, as V3's bot lane going to double ward the same bush. A little unfortunate there. But yeah, it's just, they want that secure spot. They don't want anything left up to chance. They don't want any sort of mishaps going that way, as we do have Kassin just playing bodyguard for this bot lane. We talked about wanting to get Hybrid ahead, wanting to make sure Hybrid set up for success, and so far so good. All things going according to plan for CGA, I would have to say. Indeed.
And there's a relevancy of scaling for both comps, right? Because I think Azir, Zeri are notorious scalers. You don't really need to make note of it.
Unica, not the red buff.
Oh, no.
Oh, my goodness. The man can't even go in his own jungle, as there is also the Cannon Barrage. And can they make something happen? There's a lot of low health bars. UGO here trying to make something happen. Dress code as well. Boomerang Blade coming out. Ricochet as DJ going off the side. Oh, Hybrid will get popped off in the back line, and there's UGO playing Assassin's Creed, jumping over walls, jumping over everybody, and getting a double kill in the pocket of dress code, as that is a 3-4-0 V3 clapping back real hard.
What a monstrous outplay from UGO there. I think just really, this is kind of a lack of respect coming off CJ. I was just talking about it, scaling aspects, and the fact that CJ, they're still playing for that 25-minute mark. They want to be online from all members. And in return, UGO, this champion, Silas, notorious spike within the mid game. And I think combine that with the fact that CJ end up being very huddled into dress code on the Sivir, who can just pump out absurd amount of AoE damage even at this point in the game. It means that CJ are playing from deficit from the first 10 seconds of this fight. And you can see Yu-Gi-Oh playing so smart and patient there right at the end to wait out timers and engage at the end. Really good.
Yeah, just really, really great play from V3 to get the counter punch, so to speak. Unica said, look, bro, you already took my red buff twice. I'm not going to let it happen again. And just making everybody pay for their mistakes is, once again, Kassin just looking around this bot side, fishing for something to happen. And with that last play, V3 bringing the gold lead to even. I mean, just a little bit ahead in their pockets. But what can they make happen from here with what they just got? Those 3 kills they just got. How can they push that? How can they convert that into a lead? That's what they have to be asking themselves to play spoiler in this matchup for CGA.
And it's all through Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Because this champion spikes so hard after one item. I love seeing good Silas play, and it seems like Yu-Gi-Oh is making sure we're on board for that today. Already managed to build himself up a 1k lead only 11 minutes into the game, and you can see him building into, I mean, the Kindle Gem, the Lost Chapter, probably going towards that. Everfrost, I remember the item, God bless. And that's going to be so important for the next 5 minutes of the game. But right now,
Kassin, once again, bread and butter combo, going to go ahead and flash Cataclysm, but manages to stay under tower too long.
Yu-Gi-Oh?
Result over to Hatel as in the mid lane. Yu-Gi-Oh on this mid game Silas, baby. Not even a full item completed, just sitting on the Lost Chapter. Gets the dedicated pure 1v1 in his favor. On the top side of the map, Unica's like, oh, no jungler, no mid, no problem. I'm going to go and take Herald. And V3 popping off right now at the 12-minute mark.
Yeah, it's so funny to me that Unica doesn't path towards mid lane. He goes straight towards Herald. He has utmost trust in Yu-Gi-Oh to make this aggressive play here. And I think it's just, once again, a lack of respect from Cocoon. I don't know why this exchange of ultimates even needs to happen within the first place. Cocoon should be respecting the fact that Yu-Gi-Oh has that ulti steal away available, and instead ends up dying. And I think a lot of teams have done this against V3 in the past, but especially considering the importance of today's match, you feel like, especially considering CJ's draft, once again, I'm going to say a third time now, they scale so well. You don't need to do anything at the moment. It seems like Kassin's on board with that, although taking advantage of bot side, but everybody else trying to make some aggressive plays, and it's falling apart a little bit.
Well, look at that. And off that last play, you literally see every single member of V3 getting their mythic on their back and just... oh my God. You want to talk about power spikes? Baby, they are here right now, sitting at 13 minutes. And it's just V3 looking very poised to take over here in these next few minutes and possibly run away with this game if they continue to keep this tempo up. But dress code, baby, my guy, you're in danger, as he's going to chill out for a bit. But elsewhere across the map, Yu-Gi-Oh's like, hey, bro, I got this Herald, so we're going to get a free tower.
And the strengths of these champions as well, with this going taken, I would be surprised if they try and push this further. That involves basically clearing through all this top side and setting up some aggressive vision lines. Now, this is basically the exchange of power coming out from CGA because they picked up that Drake. They know they're towards bot side, so V3 gets to pick that off. But now Kassin is just
getting caught with his hand in the cookie jar once again. Gonna pay for his sins as Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh my God.
He's just going on a tear. He's trying to make it happen as much as possible. Hops over the side. Horn from Watch It Eye from all the way across there. Bro, that's how you help a bro out right there. Just gonna use it for the first initial slow so Yu-Gi-Oh can play catch up, managing to get another kill in his pocket. This man has 50% of the kills on his team, and he is trying to carry them to victory.
Yeah, I mean, should we run through that checklist again? It's beautiful because I think we listed a couple of things that we wanted from V3 here. And Kassin just, I mean, I'm just going to stop saying lack of respect because there's no point. And anyway, you get some action in the bot side.
All right, Exhaust is down, trying to put Hybrid back as much as possible. Dress code will be the first to fall, but Unica is still supercharged, super sped up. Does not manage to land at the tip of the spear. No jump back for him, but Yu-Gi-Oh is here. Can he make something happen as well? No, not at all, as he will watch his jungler die. Hybrid says, hey man, don't forget about me. I'm still pretty powerful in this juncture, as Kassin? Once again a fight around the red buff. Kassin, bro, oh my god, you have to stop this. You got to stop this. Nemo's trying to come to lend support. The Alistar ultimate is stolen and is used. Yu-Gi-Oh! Unstoppable Force trying to catch on to Kassin, who has to make him flash over the side and get sped up. This is absolutely ridiculous, Oak, as he will finally claim that kill after spending a lot just for that kill in that buff.
I mean, he wastes a fair bit of time, which gives CJ the opportunity to pick up bot lane tier 1, but is it really worth it? Should he have been there in the first place? And the answer is probably not. And that kind of securely puts us into that 15-minute mark now. This is really where V3 start to turn space. And if they were going to take control, a firm grasp of any game, it would be the game we're in right now. Because if you remember at the start draft, we kind of ran through a couple of checklists. We were talking about, hey, okay, so first things first, get into a draft and don't come out losing. Brilliant.
Right.
Tick. Number 2, draft into your mid game. So we have, brilliantly, this Yu-Gi-Oh's pick in the silence, which has come through oh so strong. And seems like, especially with what a significant goal lead, over 3K at 15 minutes in the game. That's a mid-game spike if I've ever seen one, especially in tandem with this Yuumi that can be put on him, and as well as Unica as well, who's also doing pretty tidy at the moment. Tick. So, V3 have all options available to them now. It's just up to them to continue this aggression, continue punishing CJ's very over-eager mistakes to try and formate some kind of a win condition. The first thing that's popping in my mind is taking control of these Drakes, and especially looking towards that 20-minute mark for a potential Baron.
For sure, and all the eggs for V3 are in the Yu-Gi-Oh basket, and it's looking all the eggs for CGA are in the hybrid basket. Both members sitting on 2 items and have the majority of their team's kills. This bot lane for CGA really trying to make stuff happen to get them this win. 17 minutes here. Dragon's coming up in a minute 15. You have to believe it's going to be a point of contention for both of these teams. CGA trying to continue to stack it, and V3, they don't want that to happen. So they're already clearing out vision, putting down some wards in preemptive manner, prepping for this fight. And I do believe this is going to be the boiling point. Like, this next dragon coming up might be the exploding point for this game for sure.
Indeed. And I'm thankful that Hetel's actually switching between his AD and Unica so that somebody can buddy up with Unica and Hetel themselves to keep setting up vision. It's really important with the Yuumi. It's something we actually don't see enough of sometimes, especially with the strength that V3 have right now. With that, even a small gold lead, remember, significantly placed in Yu-Gi-Oh! The amount of priority that they're able to place in these lanes is very, very high, and this leads towards the first target here. Now, CJ are going to try and look for the exchange in mid lane. Problem is, especially with that Call of the Forge God, such a scary position to be aggressing into, especially when that mid lane tier 1 has already been unlocked by V3, because it's very easy for V3 to go, oh, you've overextended. I'm calling the Forge God. I'm going to start a fight now, and we're going to play for Dresco to run forwards and start killing people.
Yeah, this is such a funnel in here. The TP is committed. Those barrels do hurt at this point in the game as they are sitting in that river bush. They don't see him. They don't see him. He jumps over the side. Unica's dropped extremely low. Yuumi healing will keep him alive. Stopwatches burn. Consent over the side. Gets Cataclysm on the 2. Mentioned not to drop anyone to hybrid. Will get someone on the back line. Yu-Gi-Oh is up in there trying to place. Superhero will go down, and that will be 2 kills going over to hybrid as CGA do win the mid lane fight, do get the tower, and will be heading to their 3rd dragon of the game as well.
And just like that, 15 minutes hit, and CJ find their way back into the game. They pick up the shutdown on Yu-Gi-Oh! They get that tier 1 as well, and this is also going to secure them the first Drake. This is soul point now for CGA, and Mountain Drake so tricky to fight into with such a bursty comp coming out from V3. And I think that really the formation of the successful fight is how they handle the different members of V3. So remember, we've been talking about this earlier. Unica is paired up with Hetel at the moment and constantly has this Yuumi on top of him. Yu-Gi-Oh wants the Yuumi at the moment. He is their mid-game spiker. The fact that CGA cut off Unica right at the start of the fight and put him on the aggression point and force that lost chapter is early is so important, because it means that Yu-Gi-Oh is never playing with his full power available to him, and then has to make the aggression later at that point and cannot make the play happen. Very, very big from CJ to start the fight first and pick off the right targets.
Yeah, very big for them to pick that up, get them back into this game that they're losing. It feels like a game of big old tug of war right now, and it's an immaculate job. We had what?
I've just seen Sin. I've seen pure sin from hybrid here, and I don't really want to talk about it. So keep your point. I'll mention it at the
end. But yeah, it's just very. It was a very close game, and like I said, that last point I made, this next dragon fight would really blow this game out of the water, depending on who gets it. And you give 3 kills over to CGA as well as that third Drake. They are back in this game. We had been talking about how Kassin had been making a lot of mistakes and really been able to be punished on them, but V3 giving those kills back over them effectively puts that as a minuscule point, because he does have his Gore Drinker, he does have his Merc Treads, building toward possibly the Frozen Heart or the what's the word, Randuins, or just to add up to that defensive power, as he is the main initiator next to Nemo. So good on CGA to get themselves back into more of a controlling point in this game.
Indeed. We get to hit mid-game now, and we get to see, as 20 minutes formates, we're seeing 3 items completed on different members of the team. The big one for me is that Hybrid has opted into a Lord Dominic's regards. I just want it noted that Zeri does half of her damage is magic damage. So not only is she missing out on IE power spike, not only for her auto attacks, but also the laser shot cannon, whatever it's called. Actually, you should probably find out what it's called. But on top of that, she's opted into Lord Doms instead, which means she's only getting half efficiency out of the penetration from that item. Bit of a blunder. This is definitely going to slow down CJ's fighting points until the IE eventually gets purchased by Hybrid, and I'm not a big fan of it. Everybody else, though, is building relatively fine. Now, something to note before we head into the next fight here is that even through the gold lead that CJ managed to accrue, this small, just over 1.5k, there's still a massive item discrepancy between the 2 mid laners. And
yeah,
Cocoon has yet to finish his pen boots, has yet to finish a second item 22 minutes into the game. Now, I'm wondering if that missing component of magic damage within this team is going to enable CJ to itemize more towards armor, and you're seeing it already come out from Washadai here, who is built into Frozen Heart and Tabai, steel plated toe caps, and it's the same coming out from Unica as well. These are very beefy boys, and there's nobody really present at the moment to contest that.
Yeah, interesting to note the disparity between the items for the mid laners, and it is something to have to look for, right? Like you have your main point of damage currently being the Zeri, who does that mixed damage, which is supposed to, but it's just not currently doing the most. I mean, it's still set up for certified Zeri moments.
Hybrid's still doing damage. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's just not as much as it should be.
As optimized as it should be, for
exactly.
sure. The numbers aren't all there, unfortunately.
Where are the numbers, Mason?
Give me the graphs right now.
It's interesting to see how this dance around Baron's going to resume, because UG actually early picked up the ulti, and so every time Silas steals an ulti, it goes on a minute cooldown.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. So now all CJ need to do is wait out that cooldown, and this gives them the turn to maybe look for a top lane tier 1 if they possibly could, or just at least create more of a concrete vision line around. Hey, look at that mountain drake spawning in just under a minute, which means that Abduct might not even be available on that timer. Very scary for V3.
Yeah, awkward timing on Unica, or on Yu-Gi-Oh! Rather. Maybe you wanted to go for a play there if you could get the chains onto Kassin, but it is gonna be to their detriment should they, fight around this next dragon. It is sole point for CGA, and unlike last game where Sengoku were able just to outmuscle the Hawks on their sole point, I don't think V2
it's the same thing again.
And once again, getting caught in this river bush, but this time, however, Yu-Gi-Oh managing to get first blood and get the kill, and the fight is absolutely scattered. Oh, it's going the way of V3. That's a double for the Silas. Get the Mage Assassin his due, as they are going to clean up the kill onto Nemo as well. Give the man the triple. He is putting in all the work. Oh, we were talking about cooldowns and how that might affect them. I don't think it affected them too much, buddy.
Absolute disasters. They literally, well, I mean, you say that, but we noted what they need to play around, and they failed to do so. So not only do they engage on Unica, who has a stopwatch available, so just to be fair, CJ probably did the damage calc. They just inches off bursting him before that stopwatch came offline, and that meant that they put all their eggs in one basket and weren't able to find that kill. V3 then find a fantastic turnaround with Yu-Gi-Oh still having that unbreakable will. I'm going to keep talking as Washadai gets run down here. He still had that unbreakable will, and it was going to run out like 10 seconds after CJ were looking to start that fight. And that's really the big thing here. You can see, try and get this pick on Unica. Stopwatch comes in so clutch here.
Yeah, stopwatch, perfect timing. Look at everything in the mix right here in the river brush. Watch it eye. We talked about how he's just been such a solid top laner the entire season, mentioning his soak up damage and calling the call to Forge God at the perfect moment to get 3 knockups and go into this fight and just allowing Yu-Gi-Oh to survive. He popped his own unstoppable force, or unbreakable will rather, and just soak up so much damage and stay alive for so long. Look at that graph. Look at the graphs. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous how much work Yu-Gi-Oh is putting in.
And the biggest one, another thing we can talk about here is the lack of damage coming up from Nap. So remember, CGA are running a triple carry composition. They have 3 members who, once they hit their items, are supposed to be pumping out damage. But their access in some of these fights, I think Cocoon and Nap are both feeling it, is so limited that Nap is actually doing less damage than Washadai in some of these fights.
Oh no. Oh man, that's just, I mean, that's just typical, right? It's Ornn, the mage, tank, assassin, DPS hybrid, as he is known. As well. He's a bruiser as well, you know, just absolute.
Do you know I'm actually a big fan of Ornn? Ornn's one of my favorite champions.
I mean, honestly, same. Like, when he was introduced, I was like, yo, this dude is actually so cool.
He's so cool. Like, he's by far the coolest tank.
Right. They introduced the mechanic. Oh, he can build stuff in lane. You're like, are you kidding me right now?
So,
like,
okay, this is something I love to talk about. So, jungle Ornn, right? Okay, this is a big thing for me. It used to be that every time you built an item, such as like a mana crystal or something, you used to just get like the full value out of it.
Right. Yeah.
And they had to change it because there was like situations where Ornn would just never leave the jungle. He would just be on map the entire time because he'd use the little fruit. I don't know what you can call it. It's trying to find a fight into Yu-Gi-Oh though.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh in the thick of it with 3 people does have his Zhonya's available, using it to buy as much time as possible. Not long for the world, I say, as he's able to regen out. He goes back in. This man is not dying. Manages to take someone down to the grave with him. The rest of the fight is on. Hybrid is still alive as well, though, as Nemo will headbutt them out of the fight. But it doesn't matter because jumping forward, Dress Code managed to get himself a triple kill. Oh my god, they're going to give him the Quadra? No, the man's too far away from this, and that will give the credit over to Unica. V3, they just took down 4 members of CGA. Oh,
I don't believe it.
Somebody check on Middle Con right now because he's foaming at the mouth as V3 will be taking out the inhibitor. They have all the tools available. Baron up minion line. Dress Code is absolutely still healthy. Hybrid trying to keep them at bay as long as possible. It's a 1v3. There's no way. Hybrid, there's no way you should be able to get away with this. Certified Jerry moment incoming. The man is going in.
TP?
The TP on the side from Cocoon to try and push them in. They're jumping back on the Hybrid. He's kiting away. He manages to take down another. Are you kidding me? This man is an absolute monster. 1v3 base defense by himself, pushing V3 away on the brink of their victory. And Cocoon will come up and claim that last kill in that extended fight.
What is going on? What is going on right now? Is we going to get a replay of this pick off of the Yu-Gi-Oh? And my god, this man does not die. 3k HP. He also steals the Unbreakable Will again. And this is, we highlighted it in draft. This ultimate is such a good pickup. So much agency comes from that ultimate. And then on top of that, the big thing is that his micro spacing here. He walks back just a second before he throws out the chains so that Hatel can jump on top of him and give him access to this extended fighting. And that really is the playmaker that enables V3 to look for the turnaround afterwards, because look at all the HP that he managed to expunge from CGA. And if it wasn't for Hybrid being an absolute monster, this would be a game-ending play coming up from V3. Oh, your mic's
gone. So sad to say they were literally on the doorstep of getting this victory, and they just give over all those kills over to Hybrid. That's another clip for the Certified Zeri moment folder if I have seen one, because oh my goodness, it's just absolutely ridiculous.
So, I think we've got a moment of silence. I think we can talk again.
I don't think we do. I mean, we're 15 seconds out from this Mountain Drake. Everybody's positioning around it. Oh, boy. Okay, all cooldowns are available, mostly for the side of V3, minus the bot lane. Looking at the cooldowns for CGA, they are limited in theirs as well. They are in a little bit of a deficit. Once again, Yu-Gi-Oh has the Alistar ultimate. That's key to see. Super minion line in the bot lane, already marching up towards that inhibitor space, trying to just put something down there. Hybrid can go easily break off and take that. What does V3 do in that moment when they see him away? They have already started the Mountain Drake off. It's going to go ahead and reset. CGA
I love this patience. I love this
Oh,
patience from V3. They're playing it so slow because they have this wave in the bot side. They know they can take the time, but CJ trying to force it.
Oh, look how fast it's dropping on Soul Point here. The fight is on. There's in-person divide. There's the call. The Forge God also going in on the side. Dress code staying perfectly in the back line, not getting touched. That's a double for him. Unica going in. Yu-Gi-Oh playing the front bear, the sword bear jumping in, flashes over the side, and that's going to be another 4 doubles all around. You have to believe it on the dawn of the final day. Oh my goodness, it's V3 getting another win to finish out their season.
It's almost poetic as the final day, the final game as well. V3 find a win to steal away 4th